Time is the coin of your life. It is the only coin you have, and only you can determine how it will be spent. Be careful lest you let other people spend it. Carl Sandburg. Currency is as relevant today as it was 1,000 years ago. To design currency, we only need to follow one of two rules. Either it must have real practical value, like that of minerals and metals, or it must be unique and impossibly difficult to replicate. In today's world, we use the latter, serial numbers, elaborate printing techniques to create unique currency. Now, the two reasons I can't use notes for my fantasy world is firstly, anything created in that time period would be easily counterfeited. And secondly, medieval worlds, they don't have a trusted global economy like we do. Just because a piece of paper is worth something in your home country, there's no guarantee it will be recognized by another nation. Now, the last thing I wanted to do was make money using copper, silver and gold like everyone else. And yet I still ended up using copper, silver and gold. With every article I read, they all pointed to gold being the most practical and feasible metal for money. My first thought was, similar to how Roman soldiers were paid in salt, I'd use natural materials that are valuable. My city is built near the coastline, so perhaps I'll try pearls or shells. As for shells, I've got this pretty cool shell petrol coin, which isn't related, but I thought it'd be cool to mention. Now, the first problem with pearls and shells is it advocates for the destruction of your natural environment. Secondly, just like trading with honey or spices, it seems a little bit too primitive. One nation might value pearls less than another, making exchange rates between countries impractical. Same would go for things like gemstones, diamonds, rubies, that kind of stuff. So I'll have to use metals, but let's pick some more uncommon ones. No. The first problem was that many metals aren't found in their pure form and require distillation with acids and catalysts to be refined. I mean, look at the patent process for osmium. Definitely not technologically feasible for my world. Secondly, many metals are either toxic or highly reactive, which also makes them unfit for currency. Now, gold is a noble metal, which means it's found in its pure form, as well as being highly resistant to corrosion. If a gold coin is left in a chest for 500 years, it'll still be just as perfect and just as valuable as if it was new. It's malleable, conductive, chemically resistant, good for medical use, and makes exquisite jewelry. Yeah, it's pretty difficult finding a more suitable element for your currency. Now, silver and copper aren't quite as good, hence their lower value, but if a copper coin fades or erodes after 50 years of use, it's not going to affect the currency circulation all that much. The other aspect as to why copper, gold, and silver are the norm is because copper is about 100 times cheaper than silver, ditto for gold and silver. This value coincidence makes for easy trade calculations. 100 copper for 1 silver, 100 silver for 1 gold. It cannot get any simpler than that. With materials sorted, here are some of the basic circle concepts I came up with. Keeping the sea theme going, I used shells and compasses as inspiration. A good starting point, but it seemed a little bit too safe. For the next batch, I tried to step away from the typical circle coin shape. As for elaborate coin shapes, there is a limit though. If the shape is too dynamic, the coins will become fragile, brittle, or awkward to use and trade. Plus, no matter how crazy your design is, it still needs to be molded or cut with the given technology. With that in mind, these were the top picks of the bunch. Now, what many people forget is that gold is twice the weight of silver. So either your gold coin must be half the size of a silver coin, or you can add holes to reduce the overall weight. Another aspect of adding holes to your coins is for storage. It allows a piece of string to hold and store the coins as a cheap wallet. Or you can group coins into groups of 10 to make payments and calculations that much quicker. Some cultures and countries still use this, but many have abandoned the practical idea of stamping holes in coins. And with that, all that's left is the render. I want these coins to be ornate, letting the craftsmanship boost their value. That way, a gold coin with the weight of 20 grams would be worth 22 grams worth of gold. This incentivizes local trade by making foreign trade have a default 10% tax. It also prevents coins from being melted and repurposed because they are worth most when left unchanged. I eyeballed the masses, but I try to make the gold coin half the surface of the silver, and the silver 10% smaller than the copper to accurately represent their values. Different sizes and shapes will also help the visually impaired citizens use the coin. That's why today's banknotes are different sizes. Now, platinum is not worth 100 gold coins, not even close. So for the platinum coin, I added a tungsten core. Due to tungsten's high melting point, either magic or some sort of creature will have to be used in the manufacturing process. This elaborate crafting technique is what gives the platinum coin its value. For day-to-day use, you'll see coppers and silvers. The common citizen will rarely use a gold coin on a daily basis. As for platinum, think of them as the ultra premium credit card for my fantasy worlds. Throw together an animation and call it a day. For the intro animation, I needed a texture for my UVs. Whenever I try simulations in Blender, I always think of that quote from How to Train Your Dragon, "You're as beautiful as the day I lost you." But for Blender, it's the complete opposite. You're as janky and unusable as I remember. Look, most things in Blender are fantastic, absolute perfection, but you're instantly aware it is not made for simulations. It's just bad. That's my note. I've had better luck with gravity in Halo Forge, which is saying something. But it was still a fun little project despite the render times that come with animation. Anyhow, I'm always grateful for fun projects like this. No compositing or editing, I just hit render and export as an MP4. Nice and simple. Is it perfect? Nope. Does it need to be? Absolutely not. Normally that last 5% of quality that makes a piece exceptional is the most tedious and boring part. I find it really enjoyable when a project allows you to just take a more casual, light-hearted approach, spending the majority of your time on the creative side of things. Hopefully the next project is just as enjoyable as this one. And with that, I'll end the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.